Dark Reaver reacquired. It's time to go for the Light Reaver again. Because Raziel needs the whole set, right? Right? But they can't be open. They still have to be in the box, in mint condition. And that includes the special editions and the ultra rare Reaver forms. Yeah, Raziel's gonna be the type. He'll be on eBay overpaying for an Inspire Hate Reaver form because he can't find it anywhere else. And it's gonna suck too because he's just gonna be about to get that winning bid, and then Kain's gonna bid $1 more and win it. And then you're just gonna have Raziel there. Curse upon thee! And whatever else he might would say. Yes, welcome back to Legacy of Kain Defiance. We are still in this wonderful graveyard. Much to my chagrin, I thought we finished this already. It has been a couple months since I played this. I took the time to finish God of War 2 and 3. And as is customary, I thought I could jump up there. I can't. I'm trying to avoid these big fights just because there's really no point. And I'm trying to save time. And I believe we need the Dark Reaver here. Dude, fuck you. You would think this would lead to the next temple or something important, but no, it's just another area. It sucked I had to remember how to do a lot of things on this game after a couple months off. Even something as simple as opening a door, I had to remember what button to press. Also, in the previous video, there was a glitch in the soundtrack. I looked at my original Let's Play, and I had that same issue back then, so it must just be an issue with the PS2 version of the game. And of course I go to record and my allergies start bothering me. Of course that would happen. I can't remember if I've said this in a previous video. I like the variations of music from previous games. It's a nice callback, especially since this is the finale. It helps this game feel like part of the series, mainly compared to the Soul Reaver games, which had their distinct feel to them. Yeah, they had their differences. They still felt similar enough to where I could feel like I'm on a journey or an adventure. Which I guess actually Raziel has been on a journey since he got thrown into the abyss. He might have had some downtime when he was in the Spectral Realm after he was weakened at the end of Soul Reaver 2, when he got sent back to the Spectral Realm. But overall, he's been going for a while. He's almost like Kratos, except better educated, but not as badass. I might have said this in the previous video, but you hold down square to activate the Reaver's charge move. Originally I called them attacks, but this one is not an attack, so that wouldn't make sense. It's a pretty cool power, but unfortunately, we don't get to keep it because we have to go into the Spectral Realm. Well, we still keep the ability, but we have to turn it off. It's not infinite either way though, so it doesn't matter. Go through here. And annoyingly, we are going to be met by a bunch of Slua. Huzzah. This area is actually not too bad. Just try to avoid fighting. He does start fighting instead of just grabbing the frickin' body, which is annoying, but it is what it is. But this area is kind of cool because it reminds me a little bit of Soul Reaver 1. We have a little bit of platforming and Spectral Realm shifting to do. It's not complicated at all, but it's still a nice little nod. I do wish we got more of that. Hell, I wish we got any of that in Soul Reaver 2. I think there were 2 or 3 moments in that game where we had to shift between the realms. It was not impressive.
Against all odds, I had stumbled into Kain's own mausoleum. This seemed an unlikely coincidence.
And unfortunately, it doesn't mean anything. There's no story to be revealed here. There's something we're going to pick up. But you would have thought this would have meant something. And who knows, maybe there was cut content. Maybe this was supposed to be something more. There is a piece for a kinesis upgrade that I miss in this area. I'm not sure where it is, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, I missed it. And I don't really care. I can always use a cheat to max everything out if I want anyways. Which I probably will do once I get past a certain point. When we no longer get upgrade pieces. I wanted to do the attack where Raziel lifts up in the air and smacks them a little bit, but then I thought I might as well try juggling them a little bit. That seems to work okay. If you can time it where you juggle 3 of these guys and somebody else shows up and you kinesis them, that actually is probably not a bad strategy. I'm just not good at it. But these games seem to have a similar tone, which I like. I've noticed that with other series like Resident Evil, where from game to game, they don't seem like they have the same tone or vibe. It doesn't feel like you're going on an adventure, except maybe for the original PS1 trilogy. It's something I like about the God of War series as well. Chains of Olympus through 3, it all feels like one journey. And I'm trying to get over here. No need to fight. This is the power of rotation in a way that does not make you run around like an idiot. Any excuse to not look like an idiot is always a good thing. And that kind of goes into what I was saying in Soul Reaver, that ability should have been just make Raziel strong enough to actually turn those objects instead of running around them like an idiot. Oh, shades. One thing I will say about these things, they hate Raziel and Kain equally. And I also like what Kain had to say about these guys when he first saw them. Not one of Mobius's better efforts. Yeah, there's still one around there. I'm trying to get Raziel to stop locking onto them. And I know what button to hit to do it, but he wasn't doing it. Because I don't need to fight in there. But do keep in mind everywhere that I'm walking around in case you do want that kinesis upgrade. It's not really that big of a deal, at least for me. And now we're going to get this game's equivalent of a block puzzle. Yeah, keep in mind that all these games have had cut content, so there may be some storylines that don't properly get wrapped up because they didn't have time to put them in. Which is a shame because kind of from here on out until we get to the last third or so of the game, we're mostly just going to be running around through temples. I am glad I did this on first try, moving that pillar. I did not succeed first try at that jump, but at least the pillar. Actually, I did land on the platform. I just walked right off. Yeah, be sure to have the Dark Reaver for this. Which apparently happened during my original playthrough as well. Awesome. Fucking Kain taking the limited edition Reaver font. Raziel had his heart set on that thing. And you can see we're going to have to go through another Stargate. They could call him Colonel Raziel O'Neill. Okay, you gotta admit, it's better than Razzie the Raspberry. Although I have not been calling him that nearly as much as I thought I would this series. Awesome. It's either that or I call him Little Sexy. Place that in there. And then we get to have some fun with Kinesis, which takes me a couple tries to get. Yeah, just move over and you can eventually get this thing here. Of course, Raziel would be like, well, why am I a little sexy? Well, it's because the game is called Legacy of Kain, not Legacy of Raziel.
Again, I experienced that odd sense of displacement as I was transported to the vampire ruin once more. But this chamber was different from the last. In their defeat, the vampire's enemy retaliated with a terrible curse, afflicting the vampires with a bloodthirst that turned their once noble race into ravenous predators. This curse plunged the vampires into despair and apparently drove many to madness and self-annihilation. What was it that so devastated them that they were driven to suicide?
What indeed? I'm sure Raziel's thinking, you know, my time as a vampire was pretty sweet. From my perspective, it wasn't that long ago. I got some bitches, I got to drink blood, I got to kill whoever I wanted. He only really had to answer to Kain, and he was generally on Kain's good side. The only thing that changed was when Kain realized he needed to do what he did to Raziel. Yeah, this can be really bright and kind of obnoxious. Yeah, I just want the body. Fortunately, that won't last too long. I would like to see a scene of Kain realizing what he needed to do to Raziel and his thoughts on that, but unfortunately, that will never happen.
I had succeeded. The Reaver was forged with the power of light, and now my way was clear. I would seek out Ariel at the pillars and see if she could enlighten me.
So Raziel and Kain are both going to the pillars in different time periods. And here is a new enemy, and the reason... Oh, by the way, right there, I'm trying to use the right analog stick to dodge because I've been playing God of War. That's going to happen several times. Hopefully not after this fight, but then again, I don't really dodge too much against other enemies. This is the reason I will be breaking out the refill health cheat. I won't go infinite health. Although if I can turn that cheat off, I might do it just to save myself some effort. If I can turn it on, fight these guys, then turn it right back off, I will probably do that. Yeah, these guys are tanky as fuck. And I don't mind how much damage these guys can do. My issue is they have so much health. They take forever to die. And this is not how I would be fighting them if I were trying properly. That would take a lot longer. I would be doing a lot of hit them where Raziel goes up in the air and then glide away, shoot them with Kinesis, hit them a couple of times, then jump away real quick. Stuff like that that would just drag this out even longer. And keep in mind, this is just one statue. There will be more. Fuck you. There will be segments where we have to fight at least 3. I'm hoping 3 is the max, but I can't remember. Yeah, I could have Kinesis that, but whatever. There is a bonus features item you can pick up, as well as a soul fountain. It's extra content, I don't care. So we're moving on. And I gotta admit, Raziel has a pretty solid voice for somebody who's in his 60s. The actor Michael Bell was, I believe, 60 or 61 whenever he played Raziel in Soul River 1. So much like before when we had to turn the light orbs dark, now we have to turn darkness light. We already saw those little orbs by that gate that we got to get to. So you can already tell what we're going to need to do when we get there. Stargate is up and kicking, which means we can go through it. Yeah, these first couple are really easy. The fire and wind temples are probably not that difficult either, since all we are doing is regaining Reaver forms we already had. Screw you. Yeah, every time I get hit by an enemy, it's just out of spite. I hit them with Kinesis because I don't want them to get the last hit in on me. Fuck that. And I'm not sticking around to fight whatever might be in here, which I guess might be nothing. Cool.
I have the means now to depart the cemetery. I only needed to find the gate that would send me on my way.
Except you already found the gate. You just couldn't do anything with it yet. But now we can. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I knew that was coming. That's kind of pointless. You go through that area, which admittedly is easy enough, and you're rewarded with having to fight more shades. Enemies you can't get health back from. I don't know what the point of that is. At least getting out of the Dark Temple, you had to use that shadow ability. So speaking of that shadow ability, Raziel has everything he needs to be a thief. He slinks through doors already, so it's almost like he's trying to be stealthy. He's now got a shadow ability. He can go into the spectral realm whenever he wants to get around obstacles. If he gets caught, he can just reveal himself and freak people out. The problem is, if Raziel got caught, he's a talker, not a doer. He would just get caught in some sort of endless debate, probably about the rights and wrongs of being a thief, until the person he was trying to steal from got frustrated, which might be his plan all along. Yeah, this is a massive shit ton of enemies. He could have killed Mobius at least 3 times already, which I'm sure Kain would have appreciated. He probably would have been like, yeah, Raziel, thanks, you're finally being useful. So there is one extra in this area I will be going for. And it's a piece of a health upgrade. I believe it will actually upgrade the health, which is nice. However, I'm just going to cut to when I get it. You can walk around to find this on your own. You'll need the Light Reaver. There we go. Give me. I should have gone back for the Kinesis one, but oh well. Too late now. Yeah, okay, maybe Raziel's career as a thief wouldn't work out. Sad day. He'll just have to settle for being a key figure in a massive conspiracy. Alright, now it's just run till the exit. My favorite game to play. I think this is an area unique to Raziel. I don't think we ever come here as Kain. And I'm glad that we're done with it because it's so windy and there's so much stuff in the environment and so many enemies. I don't care for this area at all. A lot of the levels will be shared between both characters, which means they will get tedious after a while. But we're playing this for the story, not the gameplay, and not the incredibly lame level design. So far, it's actually been pretty good. I will say that. Like I said, It's obvious what you need to do here. No, I need the Dark Reaver. Thank you.
At last, the gate yielded to the powers of light and darkness with which the Reaver had been forged. The way to the pillars was open.
I'd like to play with Ariel's pillars. Oh, yeah. No? Okay, fine. What a way to end the video. Thanks for watching.